During the searing hot summer of 1964, I was packed off to London to purchase canoes on behalf of the Royal Scots Greys Canoe Club. The so-called swinging 60s were well underway, so I needed no second invitation to escape my barracks and visit a city bustling with life and excitement. Having hailed a black cab from Waterloo Station, as we passed the shimmering Thames, I noticed quite a commotion taking place on board a ship. Arching my neck to get a better look, the black cab driver shouted over his shoulder, "Them's all Shackleton men, famous explorers and all that." Shackleton. The mere mention of his name conjured up a buzz within me. I knew the stories well, having been enthralled by them as a child. An explorer and conqueror of unknown lands, Shackleton was also the man who had embarked on one of the most dramatic survival and rescue missions of all time. While his name was synonymous with the Antarctic, it was also indelibly linked with virtues such as courage and leadership. Once a mere mortal, Shackleton was now an icon, whose endeavours were forever etched into the granite of British history. 42 years after his death, a celebration of his life was now being held on the Thames, the scene of departure for so many of his expeditions, where he had set off in front of thousands of cheering admirers. Time, it seemed, had not dulled the Shackleton legend. I was later to learn that on the ship that night were fellow explorers, journalists and admirers, as well as the two doctors who were with him when he died, Alexander Macklin and James McElroy. It seemed everyone still wanted to somehow touch the magic, which, despite Shackleton's many failings and failures, had made him the most colourful of all the famous Victorian polar tyros. Within seconds of setting my eyes on this scene, we had passed the ship, and I had to return my mind to the less exciting job at hand, buying canoes. But in its own way, this seemingly inconsequential moment was already laying a path for me to follow in years to come. Having left the armed forces in the early 70s and in need of a job, I embarked on some expeditions along various remote rivers and glaciers in Norway and Canada. My appetite whetted, and my ambition and confidence gathering, I then set my mind to conquering some of the great polar challenges which had eluded the likes of Scott, Shackleton, and even the famed Norwegian, Roald Amundsen. The first of these was the Trans-Globe expedition. After 7 years of excruciating fundraising and preparations, my team and I set off in 1979, with the aim of becoming the first to travel over the entire surface of the Earth via both poles without flying 1 yard of the way. This, of course, not only involved reaching the South Pole, but travelling across Antarctica itself, as had once been Shackleton's dream. In doing so, much like the famous Victorian explorers, I was able to set sight on lands that had never before been seen, let alone crossed. Like Shackleton and his contemporaries, we also did this before the age of polar orbiting satellites, so with no GPS, sat-nav or sat-phone, we had to navigate with sextants, theodolites and hand compasses.